Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm in downtown Chattanooga yet again. I'm going to walk around, talk a little bit about a photo project I've been working on, and kind of just do a photo walk discussion sort of thing. So let's grab the camera and let's go out here and let's see if we can find something to take an interesting photo of. I'm a few blocks from the truck at this point. I have found that there was a road bike race in Chattanooga today, something about a Hencappy something, and the guy that won it was Enzo Hencappy. Congratulations, dude. Apparently you rode like way over 100 miles today, and that's a feat in its own self. I've got a few photos of that event. I got a few street photos along the way, but not much of anything special that you would say is particularly magical. The point of the video was to also talk about my photo project that I'm working on. And that photo project is, I shot film for a year, and my goal was to shoot a roll of film a month for a whole year. Well, I didn't do that. I shot one roll of film approximately every 2 months. So I ended up with 6 rolls of film by the end of the year. Now, another part of the project was to not develop said film until the year was over. Unless you log your photos very carefully, which I didn't do, you don't really remember what's on the first roll. So it's kind of like Christmas for a photographer. By doing that, I ended up with a whole bunch of really interesting photos that I had forgotten I had taken. And by shooting 36 times 6, which is what, over 200 photos, you wind up with a lot of basically photos that are similar. So what you start seeing is patterns. You start seeing patterns form, and those patterns start showing you kind of photo projects. In essence, I go back through my color photos and digital catalogs, and I see a lot of similarities. But when you do it on a standard medium, such as the black and white film I shot, and you don't even look at the images for a year, you start seeing obvious patterns form, and you start seeing what you like to photograph. And it was really enlightening for me to see that. Now, what that also enabled me to do was to turn this little project into something further. And what my plan is to either make a zine or a book about this film journey that I did. Now, I'm not done per se with the film journey, because I still have a lot of film left. Like a lot of it. I want to do some more photos, but I don't know if I want to do the same kind of photos I was doing. I'm across the street from the Choo Choo now, and I'm in front of the old Ellis restaurant. Let's see if you can see the sign right there. See it? And it was an iconic restaurant for a long time, but now it's been closed down for forever. And the building next to it is now gone. It's the big open lot you see over there. Another thing about my photography project was this. I like to photograph buildings, and I learned that by just looking through the photos. It's either architecture or it's just sort of documentary photography of the period or something, but I seem to want to photograph buildings, man-made structures, and in various states, whether they be currently operational or like this one in a state of disrepair, maybe headed for the wrecking ball, you never know. But yeah, that was something I did notice from this experiment. Now, look at this. You see them exhaust stacks? That was incredible. Anyway, another thing I noticed about my photo project was that I like to photograph people more than I thought I did. There's a significant number of street photography-esque people photos in 2 different versions. One is in what I would call a layers setting, and one is more of just people static in street photography scenes. I'm kind of intrigued by that revelation and learning that. So it's leading me to explore that more. After learning what I have learned about this project, the motorcycle is pretty loud. Maybe it's not on camera. But after I've learned what I have about this project, I would implore you, you don't have to use film to do this project. You could literally go and use like low capacity memory cards. You could shoot to one card, but I recommend using a different card for every outing so you can kind of keep track of how many times you went and sort of how many photos you've gathered. But you set your own rules. If you want to shoot to one card all year and just not look at the photos on it until the year's over, that would do the trick. But set some sort of like a time limit and a number of photos maybe, or a particular like color or monochrome. Set some boundaries to the project, and you don't have to make it your only goal all year long. You could do all sorts of things. You could, like, I just would grab the camera every so often and take it with me instead of my regular one and shoot photos on it. And a couple of times we weren't even in Chattanooga. We were like, one time I took it to Asheville, North Carolina, and I just used it that day instead. So some of the photos on the camera roll are from Asheville. It's just what have you. Pick some kind of like little set of rules and then give it a reasonable period of time. Don't just do it for like a week. I mean, you want time to pass. Enough time that you kind of forget what the first photos are you shot. And that way after that period of time, when you go back through them, for a photographer, like I said, it's kind of like Christmas. You just get a bunch of like cool photos that you had completely forgotten you taken. It's almost like a time. Battery went dead. Give it some kind of a period of time that is long enough for you to really genuinely build a small body of work from it, and give yourself enough photos to enable it to kind of soak those to the surface. For me, it wound up being about 200 pictures. And out of those 200 or so photos, I started to figure out there was themes emerging. So it's worth it. So until next time, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I'm gonna tell you to get your camera out and go take a picture with it. And if you want to, you can like look down in the description, and I have a link to where you can buy me a cup of coffee if you would like to. Just throwing that out there at the very end. So until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.